Okay, so as you may have seen, I made multiple videos showing my fall into madness with murder drones, like a divorce that hit me like a train. One of those videos was one I knew it would cause controversy. I won't lie, the reason why I separated from the third part is because I knew that it was going to bring attention. Don't judge me, I work in a call center, I need to make profit from somewhere else to pay my bills. However, what I wasn't expecting was the reaction. Now, don't get me wrong, I fully expect people to disagree, not only because it's an unpopular opinion, but because depending on the interpretation you have, the ship isn't that bad. But some others got me thinking, damn, did we saw the same series? Keep in mind, that video was supposed to be a part of the third video of the How Murder Drones Was Ruined series, but I wanted to take my frustration and complaints against Nuzi separately. Like I said, that wasn't a rage bait or hating video. It was rather the outpouring of a man without love. So, and to not keep this channel dead while I work on an actual video, today I will take my time to answer some of the arguments responding to them and see if I was just coping or everyone else is wrong except for me, as is most likely is. So, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, before we continue, just keep in mind I'm gonna take my jokes, I'm gonna try to make comedy. However, don't take it the wrong way. I'm gonna take my jokes with some of these arguments, but please don't go and harass the people who made those arguments. Just enjoy it. Okay, let's begin. What's the first one I got? Nuzi is generally viewed as positive inclusion by the vast majority of the fan base. Okay, I know this was the weakest point, but with that same logic, then Starco was good because a lot of people like it. Like, what was that point? And we all know how that ended. It wasn't one-sided. Okay, tell me, when did N show feelings for Uzi? Episode 2 where he pet Uzi? Oh yeah, it's not like he talked with B in the same nervous way. I know he had a crush on her, but N doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's looking for a harem. Or even in episode 1, when he apologized to Uzi for letting B and J in. Or when he let Uzi put his mouth inside him even when he believed she was a murder drone. So there wasn't any necessity. Episode 3, when he was happy that Uzi was not mad at him? Or maybe episode 4, where he was sorry for Uzi and his situation and helped her calm down. Really, this fandom can't see N show affection towards Uzi without them going, he loves Uzi! No bro, he was a good friend, that was it. N never showed that he had romantic feelings for Uzi. Rather, he treated her like he treated Sin, worried for her well-being. And I don't think N was in love with Sin. If we take every time N trying to help Uzi as a proof of love, then he was in love with Rebecca, Thad, and Sin. Their hurtful conversation in episode 4 wasn't enough?
No.
People who never had a conversation with someone having a crisis will jump on this saying, oh, he loves her. Then Perrito loved Poos when they talked during his panic attack, or Trotman loved Rambo when he was having his episode. What did you expect? And going like, Uzi, calm the hell down! Obviously, Uzi was in a crisis, and you need to be careful with what you say, otherwise you could make it worse. That was the point, showing that B's way is wrong, and the way N acted was the best. Episode 3, where N's first line is literally him contemplating seeing Uzi at the prom.
I do want to be dapper.
I think that dress was for someone else. And if you're talking about this, he literally says that they can't interact with the worker drones as a whole. He didn't want to cause more trouble to Uzi or put him in danger because of fear after seeing what they can turn into. Their borderline horny interactions in the very same episode. What the fuck? Someone has watched too much porn if they think this is horny. He did not reject her here, he chose to not take advantage. Now, this one is actually a good one, because it's a valid interpretation and in character with N. But going back to my previous points, N hasn't shown that he reciprocates his feelings. He could have at least blushed when he was asked by Uzi to help her. Something like that. I don't know. You're looking at the moment where they officially became a couple. He literally said, "We are hanging out." He's not asking Uzi to become his girlfriend. He's telling Nori, "Hello, I'm fucking your daughter." Wait, no, that's not right. "Hello, I'm fucking invincible." Hello, me and your daughter are dating, meaning that by the time episode 7 happens, they were already a couple. Literally, episode 6 showed for the first time that N had feelings for Uzi. For the first time at the end. It could have helped if he told Tessa, "She's Uzi, she's like my girlfriend," or something like that. In fact, if we want to be more inconsistent, their official confession was in episode 8. Why would Uzi be confused if they were already dating? Is my English that bad that I don't understand what they say? We could also take the hand holding in episode 6 as a mutual agreement from both of them that they are in fact a couple going forward. First of all, that's something that someone with an obsession would say. "Oh, I hold hands with this woman, means that we are a couple. I hold hands with my best friend, means we are a couple, we're officially dating." First. Second, that's a theory. You can't confirm something with a theory when it's just a theory, bro. Then Sin and N were a couple because they were holding hands in episode 5? You need something more concrete for something so important. Otherwise, it could lead to confusion. Especially when he didn't show anything before. If anything, it feels more like Willow and Hunter in the Owl House, where they knew relationships take time. But they made clear that there was something between them, preparing us to see them eventually as a couple. It would have been better, in my opinion, if, like in the Owl House, we see a time skip and see that eventually they became a couple, not rushing it during the fight with Bellows, and shows that he reciprocates feelings, and after the end we see a time skip where they already are a couple. Even Despicable Me to You understood that. Here, N treated Uzi more like Sin than a crush. You're actually talking bullshit. Do you not notice how at his limit he is during episode 6 and 7 due to Uzi's circumstances? This is literally just one example. Yes, and he was acting more like when he was trying to protect Sin in episode 5. Once again, he is worried about Uzi. So I can't be worried for someone if it's not my significant other. Uzi's character arc was definitely not to become a better person. She's still awful to everyone except her closest friends by the end. Oh, so Uzi is a toxic piece of shit. Got it. Why then should I care about her? You want to know why the characters are the most important thing in a horror movie? Because I wouldn't feel bad if they die in a horror movie if I don't care about them. You are scared and worried for how the characters will survive. If they are horrible people, why would I care if they die exactly? If they are horrible people, why would I care if they die exactly? Why would I be scared for what happens to them? And Murder Drones is categorized as horror, so there is no excuse here. Got you. This time I got you all. If you really want to use this argument, then Uzi is a dislikable Mary Sue with zero development. Do you really want to make the script look that bad? God forbid the protagonist has a relatable character flaw like being emotionally dependent on someone. Oh, so she can treat everyone else bad and we're just supposed to be okay with that. I see. That was the worst imitation I ever did in my life. I promise to never do it again. No offense, but you good, bro? No, really, like, taking this seriously for a moment. That sounded like an excuse coming from someone who's in a toxic relationship or suffering bullying in school. Like, just so you understand what I mean, I'm gonna throw some examples. What you just say is the same as saying, God forbid my bully has a relatable character flaw like throwing my face in the toilet. God forbid my husband has a relatable character flaw like punching me when he's drunk. God forbid my boss has a relatable character flaw like treating us all like garbage even when we do our jobs. God forbid my classmate has a relatable character flaw like getting into my head without my consent. Okay, going serious for a moment. If that was a mistake or misinterpretation from my part, sorry, but if you were serious, no bro, that's not okay. Be careful. You should never compromise your happiness to someone else. You're good enough for you. You can be happy only with yourself. You're too precious, and I said it from experience. Attaching your happiness to someone else is one of the worst things you could do. I know I might be exaggerating, but seriously, be careful and take care. You deserve to be happy no matter if you're alone. Going back to my attempt at being funny, BoJack Horseman is a good example of this. When he says that he's a piece of shit, but he knows that he's a piece of shit, so that makes him less of a piece of shit. The point of that scene is showing that being aware of your flaws doesn't make you a better person if you're not actively trying to change. Don't justify your flaws, especially not other people's flaws. That's a terrible thing to do. One thing is not being perfect, another thing is justifying someone's terrible attitudes. Really, that's not okay. A and B getting together absolutely wouldn't have worked. Correct. No, seriously, I agree. Which leaves me to the next critique I received. You are wrong because you're an envy shipper.
For these arguments, I recommend hitting them in the face with a brick. In Minecraft, of course.
I understand that you guys haven't watched my previous videos. I don't know why. So here's my opinion of V. What did you just said?
Trick J2!
No, before that. What do you mean by that? You lie, you knew Tessa was seen all this time!
I'm so sorry. I should have been honest. I was just so scared for us.
Did you just said you did it for N? You know what, you're a fucking bitch. No wonder why Lizzie's your friend and N stopped loving you and he loves fucking everything. I mean, you are a manipulative, liar, and bipolar victimist. I never met a sadder, toxic, manipulative, bipolar little shit in my entire life, and that says a lot because I've been alive for more than 20 fucking years. And I'll tell you, the fandom is right about one thing. Uzi deserves and more than you! You didn't treat him well even when you could. And bitch, I like to say that you'll die alone. But that's gonna be one of God's best jokes that Lizzie exists. And you're probably dating her. You got nothing to say? No pants lady? B is the worst character in the series. Yes, I haven't stopped throwing controversial takes on the show. I think she's the worst and most pretentious character in the show. What I meant is that Emmy was 10 times more interesting and would have been beneficial for development and storytelling reasons. I won't explain my problems with episode 8 and how it ruined the series again. At least watch my video about episode 8, okay? But to do that, you will need to at least, at the bare minimum, rewrite episode 8, and that will barely made it work. The video was to explain why Nuzi was trash for me. The fact I think Envy would have been much better doesn't mean I don't have issues with Envy either. I would have wanted N to remain single. And before you say, was it too difficult to explain that in your video? I said that I was going to talk about the main ship, only that, because the others were not canon. There's no reason to talk about them. In my defense, I became an Envy shipper before the ending ruined every aspect of the show. I mean that Envy would have been way better, not that it was good. Yeah, Envy shippers, your ship is just as problematic as Nuzi. Childhood crushes end up as couples is also a very common trope in television. You're being hypocritical if you will not point that out. What do you mean? I literally did that. The fandom ruined Nuzi, not the show. Bullshit. You can't ruin something that was always garbage. The thing that bothers me the most is that it could have worked. But once again, the series feels like it took the worst of FNaF storytelling instead of giving his characters some development or interaction. It was planned from the start, so it's good. Have you ever heard about this cool concept called poor execution? Something could be good on paper, but in practice it's not. Like this video. It's like when you think of a joke that makes you laugh, but when you tell it to your friends, everyone in the room feels cringe. Plus, like I said before, Anne treats everyone well. Everyone! That doesn't mean that he wants to date everyone. During the date with Papyrus, for example, he likes you and treats you amazingly. But that doesn't mean he actually wants you as a couple. He even says it. It would have been better to have more dialogue between them with the purpose of building this relationship, for it to not feel out of nowhere. For example, the fall to war Copper 9. I don't mind the scene. The point is that it doesn't make much or any sense. If they were already a couple before, why were they acting nervously, like unsure of each other's feelings? If they became a couple at the moment, then during episode 7 and lied, making it look more like he had been forced into this relationship to save the world. I understand they wanted to put an end to the ship debate, but I think there were better ways to express it. And if you're going to be so straight to the public, why didn't you do it before? I can see what Liam's point was. They complemented each other. Uzi is an angsty teen who desperately needs connections, while Anne is emotional support personified. And Uzi helped Anne be more assertive of himself. But due to the low duration of the show, these ideas feel rushed and poorly executed. And that doesn't justify it. If they didn't have time, they, like Pipsy Pop, should have cut it from the show. This is why MB would have been much better, because it flowed naturally with the plot. For Nuzi to work, they needed to break his crush with B and start redeveloping feelings from zero, which is what they seem to have tried to do here, and I like the idea. A story in which a character lost his crush for his actions and he moved on to someone else. B lost Anne because despite she wanted to protect him, his actions only hurted Anne, which is very real. When you try to keep someone by your side, depending on your actions, you might end up pushing them away. I know she could have rebelled, but B could at least try to calm Jay down so she'd stop torturing Anne. A way to show that she cared, not just leaving him alone and pretending not to care about it. But there's a reason why I call these good ideas bad execution drones. And it's frustrating because not only feels like someone crowbarred his favorite ship into the story, but it's also one of the few sources of interaction. I remember that sarcastic chorus called this the Nuzi show, and I hated that because this is murder drones, not the Anne and Uzi show. There are a lot more interesting characters like B, J, Thad, Dole, Nori, Jiva, and Sin, but no one gets time because we need to give time to the equivalent of the Starco of the series. Once again, if you didn't have time, you shouldn't have done it. Plus, why will you give hope for another ship when this was going to be the definitive one? Nuzi feels more like something changed at last second to appease the toxic fandom of this show. Nuzi feels like it's taking the already thin time of rush plot drones to do other things. And like I said, if a couple is going to be something important, it is more interesting to see the characters as a couple. It also reminded me of the Twilight love triangle, but that is completely personal. Why did I make the video then? Well, first,
here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Second, I'm tired. You guys probably didn't saw my videos of the show, but I started my channel because I love this show and I felt like it didn't get the recognition it deserved. For me, episode 8 stripped away any love I had for it. However, I fear that if I said what I felt, the fandom will kill me. Plus, I sucked at expressing myself, so for months after the end, I tried to forcibly change my opinion, but I realized it only hurted me. So I decided to not hold back anymore. I was tired and I had enough. Tired of everyone saying that I was wrong, that I didn't understand it. So I wanted to go on the podium and scream to everyone, yes, for me, you are all wrong. Third, I saw how this fandom is very toxic and everyone jump on the throat of those who claim how bad this is. So for those, I decided to speak out, as I know no such thing as shame. for better or worse. So yeah, I think you're all wrong, and I'm standing by that. But I don't want you to change. I believe you're all wrong, but I'm not egocentric enough to think that I might not be wrong. Maybe I am. Maybe what I said is stupid. I think you're all wrong, but I don't care. I'm not your enemy. We're all fans of the show. Or where, but I still enjoy the Nuzi fan arts that the community makes, the civilized discussions in the community, and the creators on it. But I'm tired of holding myself back because this community can't tolerate different opinions. I mean, hell, I'm episode 8's #1 hater, and I haven't done something stupid like go and dox Liam because I don't like it. What kind of retard troglodyte would do that? Like I said, I think this could have one positive. With the experience Liam gained, he might be able to repeat this, but this time with an excellent execution. Oh well, that is all I have to say for now. I hope you enjoy my facts/copium throwing. Who knows what it is? And I hope to see you all again. That includes you, Nuzi fans.